possibly a GoPro recording this too, so don't worry about that. By the way, full disclosure, Chris has no idea what we're doing, so which makes me very happy. Makes him very nervous. Every time I sit down to talk to anybody about Loc-Doc, the question always comes up: how did Loc-Doc get started, and where did the kind of the history come from? So I thought it would be cool to, one, talk about the history of how the company got started, and two, take a little road trip. And once we get past kind of the conversation about how the company got started and how you got involved with the company, and then how you and I got connected to get this company to where it's at right now. Okay. Cool?
I'm here.
Here's the thing. So let's back up. 1982, right? Mm-hmm. Ish. That's when we believe that the company was started. There was a man by the name of Bob Katz who was a retired apparel salesman. So he had already had a full career. He was in his 60s and decided that he wanted to start a little business tinkering. And as you have said before, he started out of kind of like a conversion van or something like that. Is that?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It wasn't very long before he needed help.
So the mid 80s ish.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He brings his son in. Fast forward another 6 or 7 years, and then it's the early 90s, and Bob and I guess Chris Katz at that time decided that they thought the future of the locksmithing industry from the security standpoint was going to enter into more of an electronics component.
Correct.
And so they decided that they needed to find somebody that had some electronic knowledge to be able to help grow the business in that aspect. So bring us up to speed with that. How did they get a hold of you? How did they find you?
I was graduating, and they inquired through the school for resumes of students who were graduating that fit criteria they were looking for. And
so they randomly find you through some resume swapping from, it was ECPI? Is that?
Yes, it was ECPI.
ECPI Technical School, and they connect with you, and then I guess without going into a bunch of major detail, they offered you a partnership if you were to come on board and kind of help to grow them. So this is now, we're talking about the early 90s. You're 19, 20 years old.
I was 20, yes.
At this point, the company now is Bob Katz, Chris Lowry, which is you, and then Dennis Lowry would be the fourth person of the organization. And you guys were still in the conversion van?
So when I started, we were operating out of a bread truck. We didn't have bread, but it was the size. It was the vehicle they used for a bread truck, a big rectangular.
Just a big box truck.
Yeah, it's a big box truck.
New phase of
caution. I-77 narrow lanes.
Thanks. I don't know why that's just started. Like just within the last 3 weeks, it just, I guess.
Probably over the air. OnStar. They know.
Yeah, it's like
probably your truck has been telling OnStar that you're constantly swerving in and out of lanes, and so it purposefully downloaded this morning for you.
It's constantly telling me things. At what point in time did you guys start looking to hire additional staff on?
It just we continued to have more workload than we had people, and we started to bring more people on out of necessity. And
then at a point, you'd hired a couple of people, and then early 2000s, you've now kind of ramped up where there's a little bit more direction of where the company's headed. It's a little bit more solidified. The name is out there. You got some regular customer base, but still, it's this company that's got a reputation, but it's still kind of underground. It wasn't marketed well. It was very word of mouth referrals type stuff.
Plain white vans.
Plain white wrappers.
Incognito.
Yeah. Another guy named Chris that came in. He kind of helped with some of the more carpentry type stuff. So I don't have any gas either, so this is going to be great. So he starts helping out with more of the carpentry type stuff and kind of building out the door segment and doing some more hardware type installation.
Yes, we had really expanded the locksmith side. We were very strong on the locksmith side. I had really worked hard on expanding the electronic side at that time in the industry, and that's the side of our company that was the weakest.
So that really kind of launched the first initial concept of what we're at now, which is kind of the total opening solution.
Yes.
It was very segmented at that time. I remember early on when I started, it was if it got to a certain point of working on a door, we would just say, you need to call a door company.
Yes.
And that philosophy was there for, I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year before we all kind of sat down and said, this doesn't make any sense. We should probably
not be a door company too.
Maybe we should not tell people to go call somebody else. So this is now 20 years into this business. Yeah, the company's been in place 22 years, something like that.
Somewhere in there.
So I want to take a break from that part of the story and jump into something else.